Because I can just be like, see you real soon. What is going on, guys?
Hello everyone and welcome back to Never Never Growing Up. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm John.
And we are back this week with another fun video for you guys. On the back of last week's video, we had some questions because we were talking about Port Orleans and John's college program. We did get a couple of comments and questions over on Instagram about our times as cast members. So we thought this week we would sit down and share with you some insights into our time as Walt Disney World cast members by completing the Disney cast member tag.
Disney cast member tag, what is that?
So I went on YouTube and I found a pretty standard tag of about 8 questions pertaining to our time as cast members. So we're going to go through them, answer these questions and share with you our experiences.
Exciting.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Alright, let's go.
Question number 1. What was your position within the Walt Disney Company?
That was easy. I was a chef at Walt Disney World. I worked at quite a few places, but I started off my college program there in Port Orleans. And I've been to numerous places, but I was a chef. That was my position.
Where else did you work?
I worked at the UK Pavilion where we met, at the Rose and Crown. During the spring training in Wild World of Sports, I have worked at Cucina, which is now Trattoria the Italian restaurant in Boardwalk. And what else? When I left, I was at Citrico's.
Yeah.
And All-Star Music. I worked All-Star Music as well. Quite a few places actually.
Yeah. But always as a chef, right?
Always as a chef, yeah.
Cool. And for me, my role at the Walt Disney World Company, I was consistent throughout my time there. So I was a cultural representative as part of the cultural rep program, the CRP, in the UK Pavilion of Epcot. So I started off as a food and beverage hostess. So I was on the stand at the Rose and Crown and simultaneously would work at the beer cart and in the fish and chip shop, the Yorkshire Fish and Chips, all in the UK Pavilion. And then I went and did some food running in the Rose and Crown pub and restaurant and then became a server. So that's kind of the pathway in the CRP. That's kind of how you progress and end up as a server if you work in food and beverage.
Yeah, so this is when you go around Epcot and you meet all the different cast members from the different countries. That's exactly the position that they get.
Yeah, that was me. Question 2, how long were you with the company?
I started my college program in 2010 and I left in 2015. So just over 5 years I was with the company.
How long did you intend to stay with the company?
I didn't. When I first went in my college program, I didn't plan on staying, but I did. And I guess I told myself 5 years was a good amount. If you weren't in the picture, I probably would have stayed longer. I'd probably still be there now.
Oh, there's me, just ruining lives.
Right? Gosh.
I was with the company approximately 15 months. The CRP is a 1-year program, but because of the time of year that I was there and the way that the system worked back then, I was able to extend my program for 3 additional months to help the company and the restaurant get through Food and Wine Festival and Candlelight season, which is the busiest time for the restaurant. Number 3, what did your costumes look like?
My costumes pretty much did not change. It is a chef white with either a striped black pants or an all black pants. When I was in Epcot, we did have the Epcot logo in them, but majority of the time I had just a plain chef whites because most of the time we were off stage is what they call it, where we didn't really see guests much. So that's it.
You wore a hat too, right?
Oh yes, baseball cap, and we also had the kufi hats, which is like just a round hat that covered our head.
Mine was a little bit more eclectic because the World Showcase is meant to represent your resident country at a certain period of time. I wore a very fetching medieval-ish bar wench costume. And I was actually the first group, so my arrival group were the first group to ever wear these costumes exclusively. Before we arrived, there was a different costume, and it was almost like a corset top with pink and red flowers down the front, with billowy sleeves and a big, long, polyester-ish, like burgundy maroon skirt.
Let's put a photo right here.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot.
Because that's a lot to think about, right?
Yeah, it
Now
was
you
an
can actually
intense
see.
costume.
Yeah.
And then I wore black sneakers because I was on my feet all the time, so comfort was of absolute importance. And then when I was in the fish and chip shop, I also had to wear a bonnet, which I despised.
No one liked that bonnet.
No, it was less than flattering. So there was that, and then for when it got cold, because I was on stage all the time and, you know, interacting with guests regardless of the weather, we had these what we call Paddington Bear coats as well. So they were like grey, really thick actually, definitely kept us warm. Grey long coats with a little collar, made us feel very like Harry Potter school, like Hogwarts-ish. But yeah, that was the entire makeup of my costume. Hopefully I've been able to find some photos to illustrate what I'm describing.
I actually liked those coats. They were really cool. I think that that's what they wore.
They were cozy, and it was surprising how often we had to break them out in Florida. There were times when it was colder in Florida than it was back home in the UK,
Yeah,
in the winter
I
time.
believe.
Number 4. What's the silliest thing you've ever heard a guest say? Okay, I can go straight away.
Okay, go for it. I don't really interact with guests, I think, but go ahead.
Okay, so my favorite thing, and I actually got this more than one time, is how long did it take you to learn that accent? No matter what we said, there were some people that just did not believe that Disney would employ us from our home countries to work at Walt Disney World. People assumed we were actors, that we were performers, and we were playing a role. And I kind of get that that could be a thing, but no, I did not learn my accent. I remember one time being asked that and just being like, about 23 years? So that was one. And then my other favorite was a guest telling me that his neighbor's brother's dog was also English like me. And I remember being like, excuse me, sir, sorry, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, he's an English bulldog. And I was like, not the same, not the same.
Unfortunately, I can't think of anything. I've been thinking about this, and no. I think the only silly questions I've asked with little kids and about random stuff and food, and I never really interacted with guests.
Yeah,
That's the thing with my position, was never really.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And I guess people always, when you think of Disney cast members, you always think of the performers and the on-stage cast members. But the fact of the matter is there is a whole host of backstage, offstage cast members that maybe don't get the recognition they always deserve, but there is a great team behind the scenes too. What's the most magical moment you've had as a cast member?
As a cast member, magical moment I've seen done to people, or just magical moment in general?
Right, so I'm thinking, I can probably think of one for each of those. So
Okay.
my favorite moments, or like ones that were for me,
Okay.
and then ones that I've created.
Okay. I want to hear. I know you guys created magic. I wish we created magic, but we never got to do that.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it.
Okay, so I mean, from a selfish perspective, some of my most magical moments were standing in the World Showcase watching illuminations and knowing that I was being paid for it. Like, that was pretty magical. So that was kind of a regular thing. I can think of 2 opportunities I was given to create magic that have always stayed with me. The first one was when I was fairly new to my program, and I got to make a magical moment, as we did in the Rose and Crown, for a Make-A-Wish family. And for anyone that's been around the Rose and Crown, or maybe you've been a cast member there, you may know the magical moment that you can create is to have a guest start the fireworks. So we find a child, whenever Mickey gets stuck on the monorail and can't start illuminations, we'd try and find a worthy child that could help us. And we'd ask them to use a special magic lightsaber or fairy wand to start illuminations when we cue them. And this particular family was a Make-A-Wish family, and you know, we thought they'd enjoy this experience, and it was just wonderful, like seeing this kid's face light up. And I remember the parents were like loving life, the mum was crying, I was like getting all teary-eyed. It was just wonderful the first time I got to do that. Like, it takes a little bit of acting and being like, excuse me, can you help us? But that was awesome. And then the second one I can think of is as a server. One of my tables was a table for one, and I went back into the restaurant and she was hysterically crying, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, excuse me madam, is there anything I can do? Like, what's wrong? And she goes, I just got a call from my doctor, I'm now clear of cancer. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, and nothing I could do like could have been enough for that woman. I went and like ran into the kitchen to speak to my manager. I was like, this woman, she's like in remission, what can we do? Can we send her champagne? Can we send her free stuff? So I like got approval to send her a drink, and we put like magical glow cubes in it, and then I had the whole serving staff sign a menu for her, like wishing their congratulations. And like, you never know how people are going to respond to like public shows of attention, so I didn't want to like draw attention, but I just wanted to give her stuff. I'm like, nothing I can do is enough for this woman right now. And it was just awesome to share that amazing moment in life with her, and you know, just know that I could help elevate that in some little way. So
That's really cool.
yeah,
I love that. For magical moments, I think for me, I never experienced it, but I remember hearing of one, and I don't remember if this was an example that was used of a magical moment, or it happened in Rose and Crown. But a little girl had a stuffed animal, I believe it was Pooh Bear or Tigger, and someone accidentally ran over it with their ECV, and it kind of tore apart. So a cast member grabbed it and ran to merchandise, and as she was doing that, other cast members were telling her, oh, they're gonna go take her to the hospital and get her. Oh no, they did. They took them to our first aid.
oh my gosh,
First aid kit, while the other cast member went and got a new stuffed animal, and they took it to the back, wrapped it up in bandage, and then gave it back to her and said that the teddy bear will be all right. And that was, I think that was one of the best stories I've ever heard of a magical moment. I didn't experience it, but it did happen, and I love that.
I love that story. That's amazing. You know, that's what makes me sad when I hear about people like exploiting the system and like trying to get free stuff, because these cast members are just out here trying to create magic, you know, and make things right.
And what I like about that is that as a cast member, they were allowed to do it. You know, it's like, it's not one of those questionable should I or not. No, if it's something that's gonna make a guest feel happier or better because of something that just happened, they will do their best.
Yeah, that's a great one. Okay, awesome. Next question. What was your favorite part or perk of working for the company?
My favorite perk was a couple of things. One is that just having to be able to go to the parks when we could.
Yeah.
And when new places got to open, I think my favorite one was when we went and the Be Our Guest. When Be Our Guest first opened, they had a cast member preview. and we were able to go in there.
It was probably the whole of New Fantasyland, no?
Yeah, it was technically the whole of New Fantasyland, but this perk that we got where we got to eat there for free during their lunch, just test it out. So that was one of those perks. One of the perks that was my favorite was we were able to do things like that, and we also got tours for free where our management team was able to set up a tour around one of the backstage tours. I did a Haunted Mansion tour, and I also did a tour with the safari.
Wow.
There was a safari version as well that we did, and it was just really cool that we were able to do that they offered that to cast members.
That's really cool. Yeah. I wish I'd taken advantage of more things like that. That's awesome.
Really good. Yeah.
Very cool. I would have to agree, one of my favorite perks was just being able to go to the parks whenever I wanted. So knowing that I was only there for a short time, I definitely maximized that to the full. Every day off that I felt like it, or if I finished work early, I could just get changed and run around the parks, and it never got old for me. I loved that. I tried to take in every moment of being like, I am so lucky to be able to do this. That was awesome. But my favorite part generally was just the people that I worked with. Some of my best friends, fiance, and like bridesmaids, like some of the best people in my life are people that I met while on my Disney program. And it's not that surprising because on the program that I was on, you live together, you work together, you all go out together. So you get very, very close. It's kind of like sorority living, if you will. And it was just the best. And I lived with some of my friends that I met back in London before I moved here. And they're just the best people and like-minded people. And, we went through a lot together in that year and a bit. So yeah, that was my favorite part.
I like that too, just because I got to meet so many people.
Oh yeah.
Around the world, like I have friends, in so many different countries because of Disney.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Totally. Next question. What is your favorite piece of cast member exclusive merch that you bought?
Me, I didn't buy. I wish I have it hidden somewhere. But when you graduate your college program, you get Mickey ears. And mine was a little bit special because back then, I don't know if you can do it now, but back then we would take our ears, go to Magic Kingdom, go to the hat shop in Main Street, and get it embroidered. The person that embroidered mine messed up my name. My name is pretty easy. But I think it was like a J-H-O-N or something.
Oh.
It was messed up, and I looked at it and I was like, oh no,
And these are very specific graduation ears too.
Yeah, they're you can't buy them in on the parks. You can buy them anywhere because it's simple. It's not fancy, but you can only get it when you graduate. Well, mine got ruined, and so they got one of the ones at the park that they sold and used that and replaced mine. So mine was the park exclusive one, but they resewed the tassel on it and got my actual embroidered name. But that is like my favorite thing because that reminds me of my time in Disney and specifically my college program, because that's what started off this whole Disney adventure. So that's my favorite.
And you got a pair of custom ears.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll wear it one of these days. I know where they are.
Yeah.
Hidden in a box.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't buy a ton of exclusive merch. I did buy a leather-bound notebook that says the Walt Disney Company on, that is really special to me because I used that as a leaving book on my last day. So I got all my friends to write me a note, and occasionally I'll look through that. So that's really special to me. And then I'll have to say my name tag. When I got that after my traditions training, that was such a moment in time for me. I'll remember that forever. Just the feeling of I've made it, like I'm here. and I finally achieved my dream of working for this incredible company. So I will always treasure that name tag, and just anything like that that came along with it, like when I got my 1-year anniversary pin, and then I became a Disney trainer, so I got a pin for that. Anything that was kind of like nerdy and exclusive to being a cast member, I was like, I'm gonna treasure this forever.
Yeah. I've been meaning to hang our name tags.
Yeah, we should get one of those frames.
There's a frame where you can put both 2 different name tags and just frame it up, and I'll
do that.
Go for it. And I love it. I still have mine somewhere too.
Yeah, let's do that. Final question. If you could try a different role that you haven't tried, which would you choose and why?
Oh.
Any role in Walt Disney World. That's tough. There's so many.
I think I would love to be one of the ushers in the Hollywood Tower of Terror.
Ooh.
Just
a bellhop.
The bellhop, yeah. Just putting people into the actual ride, and just be very grim and weird, because I think that's the most funnest thing, because I can just be like, see you real soon. I actually have.
Imagine it'd be the creepiest bellhop ever.
One of our old videos, we have a thumbnail that would be perfect. That how I would look like as a bellhop, right?
Yeah.
Here, but yeah.
So creepy.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be your dream role.
Dream role, and then maybe like I'd love to be one of the characters too. So
yeah.
Like one of the fur character where you're inside, like not Mickey, but someone in my height or something.
Who would you like to be? Who do you think you'd do justice as?
I'd love to be like Donald Duck, where I can just wobble, or even, well, Goofy I'm too short for, so I don't know.
Max?
Max would be fun, yeah. That'd
be the perfect cast.
Yeah, I think it's the best one. Yeah, I think I'll be one of those guys.
Very cool.
Where you just be silly.
I have two. I mean, I'd love the idea of being like a VIP tour guide and, you know, teaching people about the history and heritage of Disney and Walt Disney Company. That would be really interesting to me. But if I'm being absolutely honest, my dream role would be to be a castle show performer as a dancer. Like, there is a video of me at home being like 3 years old trying to dance like the performers on that castle stage. So, and I love watching those shows. The energy that those dancers put out there is infectious, and so I'd say that is what I would love to do, is be a castle stage performer.
That'd be fun. I think all the performer positions are fun, just because you can have a good time, and that's your work, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Just that, it's just always those particular shows though. Like, rather than the parades or anything, like the castle stage dancers are like where it's at. Alright, so that is it. That is the cast member tag. So we were of course sharing our Walt Disney World experiences. If you have any questions about our time, we'd be happy to answer them. So leave a comment below if you have any questions, and if you got to this point in the video and you're still with us rambling on, then give us a like and let us know that you're still here.
We're still a few weeks away from our big trip. So probably come up with more fun videos until then.
Yeah.
Like I said, more questions, just write in the comments and maybe we'll make another video of it answering those specific questions. But I had fun.
Yeah, it was nice reliving these memories.
Reliving it, that's what I was just gonna say. So until next week, we will see you guys.
See you real soon, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.